Hello and welcome to the KCG Asia 100, a 100-minute race here at the Twin Wing Motegi Raceway. On the East Coast we are driving the Mazda DPI cars, which we can see here in quite a big group for qualifying, as well as all TCRs from Asia. That includes the Honda Civic Type R TCR, which we can actually see driven by Colin Blancbook in this case, for example. We have the Hyundai i30 as well as the Elantra. We have the Lynk&Co 03, and last but not least we also have one remaining Lada Vesta. So that's pretty much everything that was available covered in the race, which you don't see too often, which I'm very happy about. But yeah, as said, it's a 100-minute race, multi-class, no mandatory pit stops, so strategy is open to the drivers. And we are currently in qualifying. Qualifying is 25 minutes, there should be plenty of time for everyone to set a good and competitive lap time, even though there is some traffic between Ricardo Bello and Timo Reiter, I think it is. But yeah, we will just wait a bit, see everything unfold on track. There's a bit of a tricky part to it, which you always have on Motegi, which is in this case this connection part. Maybe we can see someone who's just entering it, as we can follow Robert Wiesenmüller, who's back for this event actually, which is very nice to see. So we enter this very tight section here. This can be a bit tricky in the multi-class race, but I don't think it will be that much of an issue. And it's also still better for multi-class than the full course way to the start-finish line would be at that point, because it's much faster, even tighter than this one. So this is actually the better alternative. However, I'm pretty much looking forward to this. We've seen countless times now that in KCG you can have problem-free multi-class. We've seen it at Laguna Seca, we've seen it at Silverstone, even though given there weren't that many cars in that race. But especially Laguna Seca was a good show. Also with TCRs back then, but GT3s instead of DPIs. But those should make the overtaking a bit more easier. As we follow Ricardo Rebello on his first flying lap. I think the DPI in front, that should be Gaspar Misch. Now below the oval. You'll also see a track map in just a bit. Just wait for the first lap to see, and Ricardo Bello actually already set a lap time, interesting. But lap times will fall, that I can already tell you. Seen some very close lap times in practice. It's also a pretty big surprise, which we will see later when we go through the contenders for this race. Now through the last hairpin. Very nice corner to drive in my opinion. Crossed the finish line, and it was not valid, I think, because the timer didn't go with it. But while the drivers are setting their first lap times, we can take a look at the track, because as always we of course have a track map, and I already see the first support for Luca De Amico. It's currently in P2, so that's good to see. Some fan support. But let's wait the Luca to finish the lap time, even though this won't be a personal best. 3.5 seconds off in the second sector. But we can kind of follow him. So this is Twin Wing Motegi. As you can see, there's a lot of different variation. Downhill approaching turn 1, which is a very hard braking zone, but a typical right-hander, and then turn 2 where we enter the short the short connection through turns 3, 4 and 5. It's pretty much not too special, but you can take a lot of speed through it, which you need for the back straight. Entering turn 6, another great passing opportunity, especially with the slipstream, hard braking zone. And then you go again below the oval, which we sadly don't have in the game, but it is what it is. Through the flat out turn 7, again into a semi-hard braking zone, uphill, turns 8 and 9. Have a very nice groove to this. Can take a lot of speed. And then you have another hard braking zone into turn 10, which can be very interesting for lapping actually, because it gets a bit tight but still very doable. And then obviously the last 180-degree corner, turn 11, which also you can take many different angles. You can go deep into the turn and cut back. You can just drive it like pretty normal, let's say, curved line, V-shape it. If you want to dive down the inside, you can also do that, even though you will sacrifice your speed on the start-finish straight. But it all can work, and that makes this track pretty cool for a great variety of cars. I mean, we've seen in the past in different racing series, where Mr. B has taken pole in the meantime, that many series can run here and produce great racing. I mean, think of the likes as Super GT, WTCC. I think there are also some prototypes that raced here. So, very, very strict. Of course, on the oval you also had IndyCar. The great story regarding Danica Patrick, for example. But, yeah, also you have great layouts for all kind of cars. As said, we drive the East Coast for a reason, also to keep the cars a bit more close together. It would be a bit too spread on the big road course, but so far it seems to work very well. There we can see the current leader in TCR, Marvin Mackenberg. Not on a fast lap right now, it seems like, because it's not valid. So might be his out lap. Behind him in the stands, currently out of the pits, is Sven Mackenberg in the Link, and the only Link we have, but at least we have one. And then Robert Wiesenmüller, as said, coming back for this event, which is very great to see. Hasn't raced in quite a time, I think, in KCG. But I mean, everyone who has to do with race room can assign something to this name. So, great to see him here in the Elantra, which is the only Elantra, but it's kind of a given. Behind him, on track, but also on the standings, Sebastian Ray, one of the best TCR drivers, alongside Mackenberg, Wiesenmüller, of course. I think also made himself known, especially on the Discord maybe, but great to see him here, come back time after time. Not too close to the other TCRs right now, but I think that will change earlier or later, because he is very fast. And especially in front-wheel drive, he's just a weapon behind the wheel. And we also have Colin Blankenburg driving the TCR. A bit surprised, because I usually connect him with rear-wheel drive cars. I mean, he's one of the best GT3 drivers I've ever seen in this game. I think I've never before seen somebody lobbing it down the inside on the downhill part of Bathurst on a Cody Nikola Latkovsky. I'm sorry, Cody. So, like, there's not many people who can even keep up with him, and this guy just decided to throw it down the inside. But great to see him here as well. And then in the other Civic we have Oliver Bryant. I think also not unknown in the racing community, even though a bit less probably, but still I know him quite well. Spent a lot of time together in the whole Mainboard project, and he's also great lad to be around, great guy, and also very fast. Not set a lap time yet, but confident that he will also fight for a good position here. And that's pretty much it with we have also here Kratochvil coming back in the Lada. Currently has set a lap time, but currently in the pits, not driving. Also had some very good races in the last KCG race at Brands Hatch. Haven't seen him in a TCR yet, but looking forward to that. I think, no, at Laguna Seca also, I thought he was racing GT3, so I just need to check. race. He didn't race that race? Oh, I think he had to cancel his registration. There was something with that. So we haven't seen him race a TCR yet. But I'm very much looking forward to that. And now moving on to the DPIs. Currently leading still is RoguesTB. Not much we need to introduce. Like every KCG stream. Very fast driver, I think he's just proving that. Very much going to the limit here as well. And then Luca D'Amico currently in P2. I think I've already talked about him. But yeah, also very fast driver, very cool dude. Was a bit unfortunate in the KTM races. I think we even got together at one point, even though no one of us could really do something because we just got like stacked up in at Autodrome Most. But also very fast. So he can get a good result here. It's his first outing in KCG. And currently in P3, not too bad, Gaspar Misch. We had a very nice race yesterday with the MX-5, the other Mazdas, at Brands Hatch. I think he did actually win it, but it was a grade 5-way battle. So, looking forward to see him in a slightly more powerful car today. So that will be very interesting. And I think he's, in general, like, he does a lot of stuff at the moment in racing. Gets people together to race on track, which I always like. Even though I myself don't really race that much anymore, unfortunately. Even though I want to race more, especially with the next season coming up. He's one of the guys who's always getting people together to race, to do stuff, to just make the servers a bit more alive. And then we also have Riccardo Rebello currently in P4. Very fast, very cool. And pretty much known already. I think he came back for the last one. He was absent for quite some time, but it's nice to see him also being a bit more active again. But now jumping into P3, jumping Gaspar Misch is Dana Lettenbichler? I think it's Bichler. Yeah, it's Bichler. Sorry for butchering that name a bit. Who is new to KCG, just joined today. Just looked at the statistic, didn't seem too bad at all. Like, was a bit surprised to see someone who's a bit unknown in the racing community to just jump in, and in the practice session was P1 close in front of, I think it was Rockers as well. But very nice to see new people here. So let's see what she can do. Currently as said in P3, but there's also still 10 minutes to go. Then we have Thorsten Leber. He took a bit of a break, but is back on track, which is very nice to see. Currently in P6, also obviously had that great race in Road America in the Bentley when he made his debut. And also a very good race up until the end where he kind of beached the car, but up until then it was superb in the Porsche in Laguna Seca. So this time it's a different car, but still looking forward to see him have a good result. He's a very nice guy off the track as well. And then we also have currently in P7 Timo Reiter, who drives a very nice car. I really like the livery. Might be because I use it every time and it resembles like my liveries, but whatever. Yeah, he's also, as Jiri Kartoffel, is from another community who came over to us, which is very nice. From, I think it's Petrolheads. Or Petrolhead Sim Racing, rather. I mean, okay, you can see it in the bottom team split. Just had to look it up to be absolutely sure. So it's nice to see them both race. He actually raced last time, I think it was in the McLaren. A bit of traffic there with RoguesTB and Robert Wiesenmiller. Seems to struggle a bit with the power, but there's still time to get used to that. Let's focus past as well, a bit of contact. But But yeah, and the McLaren had a pretty good race. You can check where he finished. I think it was somewhere in the midfield. Oh no, he had a good race and then DNF because of his internet struggles in the SLS. Erik Kartoffel was in the McLaren. He actually finished in a very good position. P7 in the end. So let's see what he can do today. And the last DPI we have also set his lap time, which is Master Löcken. Not much I need to do. Marcel just for the show, of course. Need to say about him. I think he's one of the OG members of the community. Can be very fast, can be a bit erratic at times, but apart from that, he showed great consistency in the last couple of races. I'm hoping for him he can keep that up. And I just recently found out that he lives in the same city as I do, which kind of surprised me, but nice to see. Who knows, maybe we'll meet up at some point. But you never know. Meanwhile, I just spotted in the TCR class, Robert Wiesenmüller took pole from Marvin and Sven Mattenberg with a 125.03. We might see a break through the 124 barrier. I'm sorry. Through the 124 barrier. But it's very close in that TCR class between some cars. Marvin Mattenberg drove a 067, that's 34 thousandths slower. Miller getting out of the way, not on a fast lap. I mean, you can already see in the first sector. Meanwhile, the DPI class, OKCB continues to lead the class, but couldn't improve on his lap time as of yet. But he has quite a margin, 3/10 to Luca. But then it's very close. You have Dana, Gaspar and Marcel within half a tenth. So those three are very close together. Ricardo Rebello is also pretty close. Behind, only a tenth slower than the pack. Which will result to nothing in the race because of the slipstream and also multiclass. So those will probably be bunched up a bit. And then you have Thorsten Leber and Timo Walter, who are a bit further behind as of now, but that also doesn't have to mean much currently. Also, you have a perfect 8-8 car split. Because Christian Bertani, also known as Kitchen, just joined the server, which is nice to see. In one of the Elantras, which is doing funny things. But yeah, he raced, I think the last time in Imola, if I'm not mistaken. So it's great to see him back, even though it's been quite some time. And also you have a second Elantra on the grid, which is also great to see. And we've got 5 minutes in practice left. Let's see who can still improve. Marvin Mattenberg took back pole with a 124.981. That's the first 124 of the day, I think. At least I didn't spot one in practice, but maybe I just missed it. Let's see if Robert Wiesenmüller can respond. There he is. He's currently probably waiting to get a clear track for his fast lap. And Dana Lettenbichler on a very fast lap, 2/10 behind in the second sector. That could still be well enough for P2. Maybe and too early on the throttle. She still has time for, I think, 2 laps. Yeah, 2 laps is one about it. So with low fuel, there's still some opportunities. Let's say if Luca D'Amico can improve this time. Start a lap right after Dana. Eric Kartoffel in the chat says he sucks in this class, but he has no choice. I mean, okay, to be fair, the DPIs are pretty hard, but I mean, in the end, the race will be decided by consistency, not by pure pace. So I wouldn't worry too much about it right now. I'll just try to get a clean race going. To finish first, you first have to finish. That kind of mentality. Gashpamish also on the good lap, 3/10 in the second sector. Oh, and Luca D'Amico, strong lap, but just wasn't quite enough. 6,000 slower than Rocksteady. It's super close. And Gashpamish actually makes it onto the top 3. Let's see, is Dana driving? Yes, she is. Preparing for her last lap, will be, because you can't finish your lap once the timer runs out. Oh, and Marcel Löcken, P2 for the German. So now the times are starting to really drop. And Roxy also improved to not quite the 109, but 110.1 basically. And Marcel Löcken taking a bit of a shortcut, but yeah, that's fine, I guess. But that's a very strong lap time from Roxy. Let's see who's still on a fast lap. Ricardo Rebello. What kind of sector times does he have? This lap won't be. Maybe he can start another one. Will be close, but he should be able to. Dana meanwhile now in the pits again, so she won't have another lap. Ricardo will have another lap. Could be a bit close for Luca. Couldn't improve on this lap, but maybe if he can finish this one. But it has to be a really fast one. Let's see, Robert, Marvin and Sven are all still driving. How does Sven's lap look so far? Plus 5 seconds in first sector, that's not gonna be enough. Marvin crossed the finish line for the last time already. And Robert Wiesmüller also aborting his lap. So that's the top 3, or basically all positions in TCR settled. So that means Roxy leading DPI into turn 1 and Marvin, doesn't have to be turn 1, but leading the DPI class, and Marvin Mattenberg leading the TCR cars. And we're currently having a bit of an issue, I just see, because there is apparently 40 incident limit for the race, which shouldn't be there because we don't use incident points in KCG. I'm not too sure why this is, because it shouldn't be. I'm currently thinking if Chris, we have 5 minutes of warm-up, so we have still 5 minutes too. I hope I can get Chris to answer. Because what I'm currently thinking is, if we can restart the server without incident points, we can, because of the manual in-lap, get the positions sorted out. And it should be fine. I mean, the 40 incident limit would pretty much drastically change it, and change the race. Because it's like, even if you don't have collisions, so. Yeah, will be. Just seems like it can't reach Chris right now, which is a bit inconvenient. So we shall see how this all unfolds. I said it's a bit inconvenient. Not sure why this happened, but just send out a general reminder that in that case, if you're on the grid, because we have the manual in-lap, you should roll off slowly already, because otherwise you will get incident points for being stationary, which is not what you should get. But yeah, I'm sure they figured it out, will figure it out, because we already had very interesting situations in KCG. If I can remind you of Road America, for example. And I mean, that was, I think, a bit harder to maneuver. I hope just that everyone remembers that there's a rolling start. And Roxy will lead the lap, the feed into the in lap. TCRs seem to be all rolling as well. The positions seem right as well, so. Can already hear heating up the brakes on our acceleration. Of course, very important, especially in the TCRs. Some people deciding to reef, some not. There's very different strategies to heating up your tires. But I mean, it's very important for the start as well. Especially in all those cars, they don't have ABS. What the DPIs have is traction control. But of course they also have a lot more power. And there's already a track limit slowdown penalty on the end. But sometimes it's also a strategic decision to not ruin your But yeah, now the grid will get into formation. Looks to be on the left and Mazda on the right. Roxy can now basically decide when to go racing. The GS on the right, a bit spread out, but I think we never had a proper wheeling for that. And Roxy green flags the race, accelerates down into turn 1. The DPI is side by side in the background, that's Gaspar Misch, and I think it's Dana Lettenbichler. Oh, and we have Dana going on. I think there was another DPI that was in trouble. I think it was Ricardo Bell, a bit of contact with Timo Reiter there. Meanwhile in the TCR, now Dana trapped in between the TCRs of Robert Wiesenmüller and Oliver Berndt. Seems to have a good start. Jump shipped Sven Mackenberg. And there she's through. Meanwhile in front, oh, Thorsten Lever is round. I think that's turn 7. But let's focus on the front. It's Roxy in front of Marcel Löcken and Gaspar Misch. Luca Demi could drop one position to Gaspar Misch. In the TCR cars is Marvin Mackenberg, followed by Robert Wiesenmüller, currently split by the DPA of Dana Lettenbichler. And it's Oliver Berndt in third. And behind them, Sven Mackenberg and Sebastian Reyes side by side. And then the Honda Civic of Colin Blankenburg. Bit of a tricky situation for Thorsten Leber there, because he has to get through the TCR traffic. Gives them a lot of time, which is very good to see. Oh, and Sebastian Reyes trying to undercut Sven Mackenberg there. Side by side again. And Robert Wiesenmüller also very close to Marvin Mackenberg. Will he try to go for the move? No, he doesn't. But Sebastian Rey alongside Sven Mackenberg down the inside. Brakes a bit earlier than Sven. No contact made, but still side by side. Now into the tight twisty section. You can easily go side by side through then the TCR, and they do. Sven Mackenberg down the inside, bit of contact, but that's TCR racing. Sven Mackenberg can keep the position. Now back to the front. Nothing really changed right now, but Roxy not really getting away from Marcel Löcken and Gaspar Misch. They all four keeping it together pretty nicely. Oh, and we have... No, it's just Thorsten Leber getting through the grid again. So, no big problem. And the VSC was still active. I'm sorry. That was on me. And let's see now, compared to next car. So we have obviously 100-minute race. That would be... And we've only completed 2 laps. So... let's see. I think TCR might be an easy one-stop. With the fuel. Tires won't be the limiting factor on this track. On the DPIs, could be interesting. You can probably do it on one side with hard tires, but it's very risky indeed. And a lot of curb taken there by both Marvin Mackberg and Robert Wiesenmüller. Meanwhile, the front row CB was able to build a bit of a gap to Marcel Löcken. And Marcel Löcken and Gashwamish both were able to pull a bit away from Luca De Amico. Just trying to see, I think. And in the background, Sebastian Reh has lost quite some with Sven Mackenberg to the cars in front. But they are not far away from each other at all. But Robert Wiesenmüller right on the bumper of Marvin Mackenberg there. And Gaspar Misch as well. I think that was Roxy B doing a bit of a mistake, too much throttle. Could still see the rear swing out. And they will also soon catch up to those cars. Still, Robert Wiesenmüller decides to not go for it. But you can't even put a small paper in between of those two cars. There's no space whatsoever. That's how close Robert Wiesenmüller is following Marvin Mackenberg. But I mean, they both raced each other's countless times. They're both very experienced touring car drivers, so. And also Gaspar Misch in the meantime got past Marcel Löcken. Didn't see that move because I was focusing on the TCR fight for the lead. You can see how aggressive they drive. Right on the limit. Let's go on board with Rox DB. Can you see? Oh, and it's Dana Lettenbichler. I think it's turn 9. No, it's in the early section. It's turn 3. But right now that doesn't have to mean too much. As long as you keep the incident points under control, even though they shouldn't have been there in the first place. Oh, and Robert Wiesenmüller this time goes for it down the inside. They're still side by side, pretty much how Sebastian Reh and the brother of Marvin Mackenberg fight. Oh, and that was a bit of a buggy collision there. That sometimes happens in racing. No one really knows why. But if you hit one on the quarter panel, the car steps out, and that's Thorsten Leber in issues. Spun around. That's turn 9 this time. Turn 10, I'm sorry. Turn 9 is one before. But because of that fight, Oliver Berndt, in the currently leading Civic, is catching up to the pair of them. And now the lappings have started. And there, Roxy B goes for the first lapping of the top 3 TCRs. On the left of Marvin Mackenberg, on the right of Robert Wiesenmüller. But of course, the first time will be the most crowded one and the most crucial one. But there you can also see how fast the DPIs are down the straight. If we now jump on board with Robert Wiesenmüller, you can also see in the corners the speed difference is right, pretty much right for them to work together. Carlo Rebello now has to get through the traffic in the short variant. Connection road, whatever you want to call it. As you can see, it's wide enough for them to fit through, which is pretty good. But that spread out the TCR a bit, of course. But it also allowed Luca Di Mico to get closer to Mazda who lost a bit of ground to Gaspar Misch, who himself lost a bit of ground to Roxy B. Now Timo Reiter going past our TCR leaders down the inside. And it's Lenton Bichler. It's not easy to drive those cars for a longer period of time, especially with the tires going down. But that's why 100 minutes. It's, of course, for some might say it's just a sprint, but you always have to look at what cars you are driving and in what circumstance. Twin Ring Motegi is not a track where you can really chill for a long time apart from the start-finish straight, maybe. Even though the other corners are not too hard, especially those long sweeping corners, they can send you off if you're not aware. Like one of those things where every track has their own challenges. Luca Di Mico slowly catching Marcel here. Don't think the... it does work. So we can see Di Mico on the hard tires, which might go... which might have an effect from now on, because the mediums wore down a bit. The tires degrade a lot quicker on DPIs than they usually do on other cars. That is a big concern here. Especially with those long sweeping corners. You really start to feel it, but of course you don't have the grip on the beginning of the stint compared to mediums, for example, or especially to softs, but I highly doubt that anyone will run softs on such a length of stint. Because softs are already a bit of a gamble in North America, which has pretty much only straights to worry about, apart from, I think it's HAVIT's corner. So... they will degrade much quicker here. So you can see also like on this part from turns 2 to 5 how much load you put through the tires. Also, if you want to join KCG, if you want to be part of the action, for example, this lapping maneuver from Thorsten Leber and Marvin Wattenberg, then you can join KCG by scanning the QR code here. It will lead you straight to our Discord, and we manage everything via Discord, because it's much easier for both us as an organization, as well as for you to join, because all you have to do is send in your account link, and you're in basically. And Timo Reiter spun, I think it's turn 7. And now the DPIs in P3 and P4 catching the TCRs also here. They're already through. So far everything seems to have worked pretty good. Don't see any collisions between cars. And also all the cars seem to be in a pretty good shape. But let's follow this battle for a while. Because I think Luca Di Mico is progressively getting faster, and now also again with a bit of traffic in their way, which is Erik Kartoffel in the Lada Vesta. can get very interesting, especially now Marcel being caught up in the hairpin. Not as big as of a loss for Luca D'Amico. And again, this time it's Colin Blankenburg. It's not really in the position where Marcel Löcken would have wanted him, I guess, but Luca D'Amico, I think he's just waiting for the opportunity here to also build a bit of a gap instantly. And there we have the front 5 of the TCR. First one, Sebastian Reh, again in the hairpin for Marcel Löcken. Luca D'Amico slipping through. But of course, on the other hand, they also give Marcel Löcken a bit of slipstream here. And this time, for example, Luca has to dive it down the inside, losing a little bit of time. Oh, and one on the right, one off the left. That was, I think that was a bit of a scary situation for Oliver Berndt there. Managed to get us unscathed, and now Luca D'Amico diving it down the inside. Can he get it stopped in time? Through turn 6 he can. Now past Marvin Mackenberg. Does Marcel Löcken counter attack, or does he just sit in behind and just wait for another opportunity, or just use the slipstream to save some fuel to maybe extend his stint? Certainly not trying to be super aggressive to shred his tires. So let's head back to the TCRs now, which is still led by Robert Wiesenmüller, but Marvin Mackenberg only 4/10 behind. Oliver Berndt, due to that maneuver, I guess, lost a bit of time, but should gain that back earlier or later. He's pretty much on pace with the 2 cars in front. And then now being catched by Riccardo Rebello. Can always see the dirt being thrown up in turns 4 and 5. Meanwhile, Rox TB 4-second lead over his competition. The DPI will really be interesting in the long run. I mean, if we can take a look, he's on the mediums. I think Gaspar also was on the mediums. He is indeed. So there people will run different rhythms later in the race, I'd reckon. Near in the TCRs it's a bit more straightforward. It will just be when you have to refuel basically. I think there might be a difference because some might change tires. I don't know if you need to change tires here. I think because the TCRs are pretty much more let's roll it through the turn instead of like putting really low through the tires. If you can manage that, you can maybe do it without. But it would be very tricky. Also with the risk of locking up a bit. So there are 2 or 3 drivers which I think if it was a valid strategy also in terms of time save, who would do it. But I don't think we will see it here. I think therefore the duration is just a bit too long to really be beneficial. You save approximately 16 seconds, maybe 18 seconds in the pits. But you, especially with those high grip turns, where you can really use that tire, I will lose a bit more than that, I think. But Marvin Markenberg last lap, catching up to Robert Wiesenmüller again. Now that they are running in clean air at the moment. You can also see Robert Wiesenmüller braking right at the edge of the track on the curb. Meanwhile, Marvin Markenberg being a bit more chill, just keeping it on the racetrack, braking in the, let's say, normal way. I mean, that's also a bit of a sign of, let's not say dominance, but he does show that he can be a bit quicker at the moment. I think overall they both are pretty even on pace. But also the guys behind Oliver Berndt, Sven Markenberg and Sebastian Reh, will really hope for them to fight so they can catch back up. Because they are all three on a very similar pace. Currently Sven Markenberg and Sebastian Reh just a bit faster than Berndt, but Berndt is the exact same pace. The Markenbergs actually set the exact same lap time, the last lap, a 1:26.093. Down to the thousandths of a second, they set the same lap time, which is incredible. Let's see, what was it? This lap, Wiesenmüller 26.5, Markenberg 26.3, Berndt 27.5, so he lost quite a significant amount of time there. And then Sven Markenberg 26.6, Sebastian Reh 26.0, and you can really see that because this is very close together. But Sebastian also very understeer. Dana Lettenbichler, the first driver in the pits in the DPI class. Oh, and now the trio being overtaken by Roxy. This opens the door for Sebastian Reh to slip through. And he's passed Sven Markenberg. He used the opportunity that opened up on him because of the lapping from Roxy to slip into fourth position. But he still has to get past Oliver Berndt without being overtaken by Sven Markenberg. Gives him a little bump there. Shouldn't be an issue. And now it's Gaspar Misch coming through. Going around the outside to leave the TCRs plenty of space. This also helps Oliver Berndt a bit, because he got at least a bit of slipstream. That's a bit more top speed down the straight, so that Sebastian Reh at least isn't level with him. Oliver Berndt defending on the inside, Sebastian Reh trying it on the outside. Sven Markenberg already peeking in on the inside. Can he use that? Oliver Berndt blocking Sebastian Reh out. Now with the speed difference that Sven Markenberg was able to build up, meanwhile that's Luca D'Amico going through. Can he try to launch one up the inside Sebastian Reh like Sebastian Reh did to him a lap prior? No, he doesn't. He decides against it. And Timo Reiter around in turn 10. It's not too big of an issue. Just hope the incidents won't rack up too much. Oh, and Oliver Berndt late defense to the inside. Is it worth it? Because now Sebastian Reh on the outside can get a better drive out of the turn, and Sven Markenberg gets a slipstream. Can he slip through? Now on the inside again of turn 11. Now who has the better acceleration out of the turn? The Honda is a bit heavier. The Honda has a 20 kilogram ballast. Lynk&Co and the Hyundai A30 both have 5 kilograms. But Oliver Band manages to keep it in front of Sven Nockenberg. This might be a bit problematic for Sven actually. You know, Marvin lost a bit of time. Probably reason because of the lapping with Marcel probably. Because now Sebastian Reh is running a 3.0 and that was very close there with the DPI of Ricardo Rebello. But Oliver Band saw it in the last possible moment. Of course, the TCRs don't have to get off the way of the DPIs, they just have to be predictable. But still, yeah. It was very close. You don't want to have such a collision, but both reacted in a very positive way. Currently it's a pretty Hyundai run race because the top 3 in the TCR class are Hyundai, but it's not like Hyundai is dominating the dominating car. Also it's two different cars, but yeah, we have very close very close competition. Yeah, the DPI spread out a bit, as you can see. 9 seconds from DB to Mish, then another 6 seconds to D'Amico, 7 seconds to Löcken, 6 seconds to Rebello. But of course, the pit stops will start at some point. Oliver Band just showing himself there on the inside. If we take a look at the lap times in the DPI class, we have Focus B setting a 1:12.1. I mean, you can wait for now it's 10.6, I'm sorry, I always mistake it for 10.11 from that angle. 1:12.1, Gaspar Misch on a 1:12.05. So, well, I think roundabout overall the same pace. The Amico on a 12.4, that will probably be because of a lapping. The best lap times, the B has a 10.8. which is 6/10 faster than what Gaspar Misch has, which is an 11.4. Then the Amico 11.9, Löcken 11.7, Ricardo Rebello 12.1. So DPI are a bit more spread out at the moment. Oliver Band always going for a very early apex, but it works pretty well for that car. Even though the TCRs are all very similar, you have some certain characteristics for each car. Mostly dependent, of course, because of stuff like the wheelbase, the power delivery of the power unit, track width, for example, as well. They are not too different, but they have differences. And that's why they can take different lines each time. But that makes TCR such a great class in my opinion, because you have so many different characteristics and shapes, yet at the same time they are so close in performance. Marvin Mattenberg got closer to Robert Wiesenmüller. Wiesenmüller now in 26.4 last lap, Mattenberg 26.0, B 26.4, and then 2 cars behind 26.2. Oh, and now OCB being catching up to the train. And Magdeburg getting ever so close to Robert Wiesenberg. Oh, and it's... Sebastian Reh made a mistake allowing Bernd and Magdeburg to slip past. The only thing I see was slowed on penalty for him, but that's a bit of time ago. I mean, he's also still very close, and that's Oliver Bernd side by side with Sven Magdeburg. Yeah, with Sven Magdeburg. I was correct this time. This now opens the door for Sebastian Reh, possibly. Gashpamish down the inside. I'm very close to the TCRs. I don't know if I would do that. It's pretty much what it was, let's say 4 laps ago. 4 to 5 laps ago. Will be a bit frustrating for Sebastian Reh, but he just couldn't pull away as well. It's just so close all 3 of them are at the moment. And we have something... I think RoxDB spun. RoxDB was in a collision, that means it was a track collision. Oh, and Sven Magdeburg around the outside of Oliver Bernd. Oliver Bernd showed a couple of times that he was very fast out of that turn though. It's Timo Reiter going down the inside of turn 7. The inside line helped Oliver Bernd keeping his position. And Sven Magdeburg can't dive it down the inside. It's still like it was before, but... Oh, and Oliver Bernd had a very tricky decision there. Now a bit wide. Can he get a better drive out of the turn compared to Sven Magdeburg though? Side by side now. Where does Sebastian Reh decide to go for? He just decides to keep it with Oliver Bernd, pushing him down the inside in hopes to get through with him. Sven Magdeburg got the better drive out of the turn though. Will be side by side down into turn 1, probably lever, and it's Timo Reiter. I think that's down in turn 1. And he's out of the way early enough. Oh, and Sven Magdeburg around the outside of Oliver Bernd. Little touch there, not too big of an issue. Taking a lot of curb that will have lost him a lot of speed. And now he has to look backwards to Sebastian Reh. He's on the outside. Can he brake a bit later? They brake pretty well, both, but he just threw it around the outside, getting on the throttle early. Now it's a very good drive, even though Oliver Bernd has the inside line. He just can't get enough speed to defend from Sebastian Reh, but now on the outside, again the chance for him. Should now turn into the inside of turn 9, and now approaching turn 10. Sebastian Reh on the inside. Seen countless of times now that he can defend around the outside, but Sebastian Reh just braking later, diving it down, but up and under from Oliver Bernd now. They are level going into turn 11. Really try to go for the up and under again. No, Sebastian Reh blocks him out. That was a genius maneuver there from Sebastian Reh. Just blocking him out to not get the drive out of turn 11 for the long straight. He will have the slipstream and maybe the opportunity to counter-attack, but he doesn't this time. And also all of this allowed Sven Magdeburg to just get 3 of those 2 and 1 in clean air, which will help him, especially with the traffic now approaching. As Ricardo Rebello goes past Oliver Bernd, which will have lost him quite some time there. Meanwhile, Timo Reiter's in the pits, and Dana Lettenbichler seems to have had parked the car indefinitely. Yeah, she also just noticed me because of some off-track issues. But thank you for joining anyways. I hope you can see you back for the next race. Should be in quite some time, but I think with that pace no one's gonna doubt the capabilities behind the wheel. But yeah, there's always another time. But let's focus on the lead battle for TCR. Meanwhile, Thorsten Lever's in the pits. And you can again see Robert Riesenmüller taking all the track available. Meanwhile, Marvin Magnet just staying in bounds. Well, technically Robert isn't breaking out of bounds. Toshiba now driving again out of the pit box. Timo Reiter will probably not be close enough to overtake him. But he will continue to gain for the remainder of the start-finish straight. And we are edging closer to the 1 hour mark, which isn't halfway mark, because that is 50 minutes, but so far so good. Still rocks to be leading in DPI. And still the lead battle between Robert Riesenmüller and Marvin Magdenberg in TCR. Marvin Magdenberg ever so slightly closer than last lap again. Less than 2/10 this time. Now will he attack? He's not directly running in the slipstream. And the Elantra seems to have a bit more top speed compared to the i30, but you can see it's pretty much exactly the other way around from the first few laps where Marvin was leading the race. Oh, and it's Roxy and Gashpamish in the pits. So front two runners in the pits. Luca D'Amico staying out. That means Luca D'Amico will take the lead of the Asia 100 Mazda up in P2. So they will both run a bit longer. I guess all the TCRs will drain their fuel tank as much as possible and go in as late as possible. I might see, or we might see some people coming in at the halfway mark. Just have fresh tires with the best advantage possible. Looks to be now, I think that's repairs on his car, because he dropped down and didn't start up the car. Oh, that will be very close between Gashpamish and Roxy out of the pits side by side. There's no collision in the pits, of course, but now with the blue cones there is. And Roxy not even a second in front of Gashpamish. Now he is possibly the faster driver, but with slipstream and traffic, that opens up a whole nother opportunities for Gashpamish. And that should have been bodywork damage that was repaired on Roxy's car. Because after you are let down from the jacks, the game lets you repair aerodynamic and bodywork damage. So it has to be one of those two things. Oh, and Gashpamish being a bit unlucky with traffic there. Or possibly not. Roxy not having a good exit out of turn 6, and Gashpamish takes the virtual lead of the AJ100. Because all three cars in front of him still have to pit. As said, with the strategy, things might change a lot still. But this is very outstanding maneuver by him. And Marvin Magdenberg as well, super close. Oh, and that's Toshiba going, just passing the two at the very last moment. And hello, Sebastian. Sebastiano. So far we had 4 people pitting in the DPI class, and now people pitting in the TCR class. And the top 3, D'Amico, Löcken and Rebello, haven't pitted yet. The other 4 have pitted. Unfortunately, we lost Dana Lettenbichler from the race, but yeah, as said, hope she comes back next time. And also DPI coming into DPI traffic here and there. but edging closer and closer to the 1 hour mark. Meanwhile, Thorsten Leber was able to extend the lead over Timo Reiter a fair amount over the last laps, but of course with fresher rubber and stuff, it does really help. But Timo Reiter now has a body to work with, because Marcel Löcken is basically clearing out traffic for him, and he can slip through, and he can also orientate himself on him a bit. Even though Marcel Löcken might be a bit faster, but it still can help significantly. Meanwhile, our train has disintegrated a bit. Around 2 seconds the gaps from Magdeburg to Ray to Bernd. But I'm pretty sure that wasn't the end of that. Oh, and we have Marcel Löcken in the gravel. Doesn't seem to be any sort of collision, just lost it by himself. Still doesn't pit though. Gaspar Misch also still in front of Rogues DB. But Misch and DB pitted very early, I think, compared to the other competitive DPIs we have, and there you can also see that there's damage to the DPI of Rogues DB, so probably we had aero damage on the front but not bodywork damage, because then it would be fixed. As you can see, the lights on the right hand side don't really work anymore. And then in the background we could also see the TCR of Colin Blankenburg, who's still running in 6th place. And for not having that much experience in front wheel drive cars, it's actually doing pretty good. Better than I would do, probably. Yeah, it pretty much looks like he's going for the one stop. I'm not sure about Löcken and Rebello because of their tire choice. But Luca I also reckon to do one stop. But I think both is pretty viable, both strategies. One might even, two stop might even allow you to go softs without losing time. Marcel Löcken getting back past Timo Reiter. This will be a big strategy game. Of course, in theory you save time, but you also have to consider many other things, especially in such a multi-class race. Oh, and Marvin Magdenberg and Robin Wiesenmüller, I turned back from 1 second and they go side by side. Marvin Magdenberg now on the inside of turn 10, Wiesenmüller on the outside. He tries the up and under, but Marvin Magdenberg blocks him out, but he has a bit of better drive because of that. So he's still significantly alongside. Now down the inside, there you can see the lead DPI battle approaching them, but they are not too close to get hauled up by them. As they go down the middle of the fighting TCR pair here. Now, what is Miller? Does he try? He does try to go around the outside. Not quite, but I already saw him trying to launch it around the outside, on the curb where he usually drives. So there's a lot of action going on for being 45 minutes into a race. But also this fight really helped Sven Mattenberg to close in. Now can Robert Wiesenmüller catch back up to Marvin Mattenberg? I think those two also really have to consider undercut and overcutting. Even though they're both candidates which I reckon could do it without a tire change, possibly. But I'm not sure about that. And Voxaby now on the outside of Kaspar Misch. Can't quite do it there, therefore the car's a bit sluggish on turn-in. Oh, goes wide a bit there, loses some time. Marcelo, meanwhile, catching up to D'Amico at the moment. And Bello as well, so they're both faster. But currently, or last time lap, I mean, you could wait for this lap to end as well. Vox TV was 1.5 seconds faster than Luca D'Amico. It's in P1. Meanwhile, they both lap the Lada Vesta of Erik Kratochwil. Oh, and Robert Wiesenmüller has lost significant amount of time because now Sven Mattenberg is right behind him. It's probably a bit of lap traffic being as well. And Voxaby is past Kaspar Misch. I just need to keep it. But when will the leaders come in? By the way, the last lap from Voxaby again 11.6. This time 1.2 seconds faster than Luca D'Amico's last lap. And Robert Wiesenmüller again in a fight with the Mattenberg. This time the car's a bit different. But of course this all allows Marvin Mattenberg to have a lot of breathing room. Currently running away from it. But Kaspar Misch definitely hasn't given up on that virtual lead, let's say it like that. Doesn't need to be the virtual lead necessarily, depending on how the pit stops sort out in the end. But he is following very closely. Owen Thorsten Leber, yellow flags for him. It's turn 6. Will help Timo Reiter closing in a bit more. Slang also in a bit of trouble there exiting. It's not the grip on the rear axle. So if it's a one stop, which is very likely then, Expect him to the top 3 to come in at the 45-minute mark, of course. And the last laps, Mish and DB not as fast. Still faster, but less than a second gained. But also, they are fighting pretty hard. Oh, and Rebello in the pits. If this will be enough for one stop, will be hard to tell. Going past Oliver Bernd, who leaves a lot of space. I said you don't have to do that, but it's very nice. Of course, it always depends on your situation as well. Thing is, the more the two fight, the more time they of course lose, which is currently the saving grace for Luca D'Amico. They are round about 41 seconds behind Luca D'Amico. Pit stop will lose you around about 50, I guess. Oh, and down the middle the two go. What a... Very well done by the two TCR drivers as well to see it like that. So congrats to Robert and Sven for this. It's again the two DPS just sending it down the inside. Oh, but Rockus CB made a mistake in turn 9 and he flew off the track. I hope there's not too much damage. Or any FO at all. Can't speak. And someone came into the pits. I just don't know who. It was Robert Wiesenmüller. Robert Wiesenmüller, the first of the TCR people to pit. Probably trying the undercut, but Oliver Bernd also joining him in the pit lane. But this will be now very crucial for Gaspar Misch. And Luca D'Amico in the pits also. He's past the halfway point, of course, because you have 50-minute halfway point. So, Cordobel maybe a tiny bit early, but we shall see. Marcel Löcken now leading the race. He will probably also come in at the end of this lap. So let's see what gap Gaspar Misch has over Luca D'Amico when he is finished with his pit stop. Changing tires, so it's probably 25 seconds until he gets going again. Will it be enough? So Marcel Löcken now entering the pits. D'Amico meanwhile out of the pits as well. Gap to Roxy 28 seconds and 31 to Roxy. That will be close. It will be close between the top 4 or current top 4. Colin Blackmore now also into the pits. So let's see, Robert Wiesenmüller now on his first flying lap after the pit stop. Oliver Bernd coming into the pits again. Possibly a drive-through. Yeah, Oliver Bernd drive-through penalty sitting in pit lane. Not what he needed right now. Oh, a little slide there for Robert. Löcken still stationary. Let's see where Colin comes out. Ist mal Magdeburg. Is he gonna lap him? Yeah, probably. But he also still has to pit. Also lap him now driving again. Easy to come out in 4th, but with quite the gap to Lada and Lynk&Co. But now it's on Gazpromish to build enough of a gap to Luca to be able to do one more stop. Hard to tell how much time you lose doing a stop, but it will be more than 32 seconds. He's on mediums again, same for Roxy, they are on the same strategy. The Amico, Löcken and Rebello on the same strategy. I wish I could show you the entire compounds in the timing tower, but apparently I can't. And Robert Wiesenmüller's last lap at 25.9. Marvin Mankenberg's last lap at 26.8. That's 7/10 faster. Will this be enough for an undercut? Last lap from Sven Mankenberg at 27.1. Of course, making a pit stop at the right time can also prevent you from being in traffic. Maybe Marvin Mankenberg also got a bit unlucky with having to lap Colin Blankenburg, which, no matter how good the other car does it, leaves you space, because in the same class you obviously have to give way to blue flags, but can do it how good you want, you'll always lose some time, unless it's really on the straight with lifting. I think we see in front the DPI of Thorsten Lebo. That's Riccardo Bello. It's a bit brighter red. So. But Roxy also within a second of Gazpromish again. Now if these two start fighting again, that could both cost them the win. Again. If it hasn't yet, that's Sebastian Reh entering the pits. Marvin Mankenberg also in the pits. Now Robert Wiesenmüller in the fast Asus. Can he get past? Sven Mankenberg stayed out, so he's currently leading the race. Was the undercut enough? Marvin Mankenberg fires up his car. Robert Wiesenmüller through the last turn. Sebastian Reh changing fronts as predicted. Marvin is driving, but of course with the speed, with the high speed you get, I mean of course he's not gonna catch up there, but is it gonna be enough to get past Sven Mankenberg in the end? Sebastian Reh comes back on track. Re-enters in P4. Maybe he can also undercut Sven, even though that will be a tough one. But Luca De Amico also only pretty much on pace with the two guys in front. So that's a bit surprising. To be really going for it here. And passing Morata there. The gap between Marvin Magdenberg and Robert Wiesenmüller now 1.7 seconds. Sure, it's still 1.7 seconds, but it's much better than what he had before the pit stops. And maybe on the fresher tires, the Elantra was very strong. Just near the end of his stint, that tire kind of fell off and his pace dropped. Pitted earlier, of course, than Marvin. But it only needs a bit of unlucky traffic. And Sven staying out another lap. That will obviously also, each lap he's staying out will gain him in fuel. He doesn't have to refuel. So maybe there are also some fuel games involved in all of that. But currently, Mish and DB not being able to really capitalize on the higher fuel mapping they have. Oh, they will probably have. Let's say. They are slowly building the gap to their micro. But currently it wouldn't be enough, even though they are much faster in the ending, of course. It would still be quite the significant gap. So Nutmeg still staying out. It's very interesting. Also a driver we haven't really talked about, Christian Bertani. May not be involved in the fight for the lead, but still. Without really real issues, as far as I can see. Just minding his own race. And finishing would already be enough to get some reward. I haven't talked about it actually so far. Because of course, as always, we have some good VIP prizes. Winner in both classes receives 500 VIP. In the DPI class P2 to P5 receive 250 VIP. In the TCR P2 to P7. And in each class a random non-top 5 or top 7 finisher will receive 250 VIP as well. Which would in that case mean that Bertani would get the 250. And this time Sven Markenberg comes into the pits to do his pit stop. So let's see. Marvin Magdenberg coming out of turn 10. He will surely get past, as well as Robert Wiesenmüller, I guess. Sven Magdenberg still on the refueling station. And here they come. Marvin Magdenberg and Robert Wiesenmüller, and Sven Magdenberg didn't change any tires, as far as I can tell. And that's what I said. It is apparently really possible. So let's see. So both Marvin and Robert have gained on Sven a bit, but 4 seconds is doable over 37 minutes. Now walks to be lost a bit of ground to Gaspar Misch, which will surely take off some load off his shoulders, 1.5 in the last lap. But Luca D'Amico is lapping a 112 flat. That's very fast for... I mean, sure, the rubber is still fresh and so on, but that's still very remarkable. Oh, and that was close between Gaspar and Colin. That lost Gaspar a lot of time as well. Just try to throw it down the inside of the Civic, but you have to be patient. And that's a bit of a reminder of it. Now Roxy is right behind him again. At least there was no collision, because also Colin did a great job in avoiding it. And Robert Wiesenmüller entering the 1 second territory. Both getting past Bertani there. Can again see how aggressive they take those curbs. It's really incredible to watch in my opinion. That was Oliver Berndt, which Mish and DB just overtook. Who? Not Rich. Now Wiesenmüller lost a bit of time to run Mainboard again, probably courtesy of a lapping in between. Then in the background we can see who was it. It was Luca D'Amico. But yeah, that's what I said, it's back and forth every time. But it's not a lot of time remaining until these two have to come in again. And Roxy again seeing his chance there because Kashpamish had to brake early. Couldn't quite do it. So I think they still have probably around 3 laps left, if I could estimate it. Somewhat like something like that. Maybe it's way more because I completely underestimate how much fuel you sometimes save in traffic. You know, both getting past Re there. But they really have to gain a lot of time on D'Amico in the 3rd stint to make it work. I think if they hadn't fought this hard in the 2nd stint, the beginning of the 2nd stint, could have been much more possible. But the race is also still not over. It's still far from over actually. So. It's not judged prematurely, but I think that lost them quite a significant amount of time. Oh, and we have a yellow flag. It's Thorsten Leber being stationary. Is that turn 10? Yeah, it is. Let's just hope the incident limit isn't an issue so far. Oh, and Roxy dives down into the pits. Gaspar can still drive another lap. So let's see. At around 40-second gap to Luca D'Amico. Let's see how much time RocksDB loses. Bit of a weird line from Gaspar there. Not too sure what was that. Maybe slow down here to save? No, not that I can see it. Or maybe just lost the rear of the car. And the B is up in the air. D'Amico now just passed him. When can he drive again? D'Amico into turn 1. Still stationary. Can now drive. Gaspar can still drive another lap. Each lap he can drive now will help him. Oh, but that's a big gap. That's 24 seconds at minimum to D'Amico. Should be still very possible to get third. We're taking Mazda Löcken, but D'Amico. If he can keep it together. Except of course Gaspar now does 1 giga lap after another, but he just lost 4 seconds the last lap. I'm not sure what was up there. And he's also not really gaining on Luca right now. So the wheels seem to really go down, and now he decides to dive into the pits. It will be a close one between Mish and TB again. Can already tell you that. He has to refuel a bit less, so that will probably gain him 1 or 2 seconds, but that will be very hard to catch up to D'Amico. So a lot of things have to go wrong. There he goes past, start finish straight, lap 60 he's starting. Now where's Mazda Löcken? He's now approaching turn 11, Gaspar Misch. Still up in the air, they can see Marcel going out the turn. Gaspar meanwhile driving, so he will come out behind RocksDB. Still such a long way for him to go. That 1 lap really cost him. See if he can find his way back up into the podium positions. So now, after the pit stops, Luca D'Amico in front, leading the field. Mazda Löcken in second, even though he's been chased down by RocksDB and Gaspar Misch. And then we have a bit of a gap. Ricardo Rebello in 5th and Thorsten Leber 1 lap down in 6th, and Timo Reiter, he's shown as a DNF. I'm not sure why, and I'm not sure why he's rolling. Oh, his internet connection died again. That's very unfortunate for Timo Reiter. He already had that internet connection issue in Brands Hatch. Very sad to have him retire again. because there's nothing he can do about it. But continuing with the standings, it's Marvin Mackenberg leading TCR, followed by Robert Wiesenmüller and Sven Mackenberg. Those three are still pretty close together for driving 63 minutes. Then with a bit of a gap, Sebastian Reh, Oliver Berndt, Colin Blankenburg, and then Erik Kartoffel and Christian Bertani. But yeah, it's very unfortunate for Timo Reiter. He had a pretty decent race up until that point. CB getting closer and closer to Master Lötten, who himself gets closer to Luca D'Amico, even it's not as fast. But of course they're on the same strategy. But getting close is one thing, getting past is the other. Oh, DB diving it down the inside of Sven Mackenberg. I think there was contact. It doesn't show that it was marked as a collision. But that was very aggressive nonetheless. But seems to have worked just fine for both of them. Of course, DB is in a bit of a mission here. And especially in the traction zones you will see the difference between fresh mediums and old hards. And of course in the braking zones, as you can see, Roxy just completely outbraked Master Lötten for second place. Marvin Mackenberg being in the mix of it all. So it's 20 seconds in 24 minutes. Can Roxy catch it up? It's 1.1 seconds last lap. Of course, this lap with the overtake might be a bit less, depending on what Luca did. But Luca so far beautifully managing this race, completely in control of it. Being a bit of the, let's not say underdog, because he's not the underdog as a driver, but like in terms of what he did on track, he was pretty much on the radar, I think, for most of the other drivers. So last lap by the Amico, 1:12.1. Roxy Beast was invalid. And Colin Blankenburg was in a collision and off the track. Hope that's not too big of an issue. Oh, and Roxy B, yellow flags for him. He's off at turn, oh, and into the wall in the East Course variant. Not sure what happened there. It was just lost control, was in a collision. Oh, and lost control again. There has to be something up with the car. That means mission now in P3, but I mean, he hit the wall head on. What happened to Roxy B? Or maybe he just overdone it a bit. And mouse support coming for Luca D'Amico, and he's 22 seconds in front of Mazda, who himself is still 7.7 seconds in front of Kaspar. So, unless he does a mistake, he pretty much has it in the back. And Team Ryder just confirmed in the Discord. Game crashed instead of disconnection this time. Kaspar 11.7 last lap. I mean, you can wait for this lap as well, but just for reference, Luca D'Amico 13.3, Löckner at 12.4. Of course, influenced by traffic. No, all of RTR was. Yeah, really, yeah, true. An 11.2 by Kaspar, very strong lap time. CCR class, it's been a bit stale at the moment. All three of the top runners pretty much keeping the same distance to each other. But also slowdowns increase at times, so those will be very significant over the time. Oh, and that was very how can I say so? Oh, and Bertani in the pits? Okay, it's just in the pits. I like the word for it. A very brave attempt, let's say. Game has shrunk down to 5 seconds for Marcel. Hop on board with Kaspar now. He can't see Marcel. It's already always an incentive to push more. As long as you don't over push, that's totally fine. The car right in front of him, that's Ihre Kartoffel. See the lap times this time around. Luca D'Amico 13.4, Löckner 12.2, Kaspar 12.1. Couldn't really gain this time around. So there's 17 minutes left. That's 15 to 16 laps, I think. That would have cost him a bit of time. But now more traffic ahead. That is Sven Mackenberg right in front of him. And then it will be Robert Wiesenmüller and Man not far away as well. Bit wide here. Meanwhile, the gap between Robert Mackenberg and Robert Wiesenmüller has increased. Robert Wiesenmüller to Sven Mackenberg has decreased. But you can see him getting closer and closer and closer, especially in the braking zone. I mean, this time also there was Colin Blankenburg, of course, and Bertani. Oh, that will be very interesting for Joshua. First wanted to go, I think, around the right side of the Hyundai, then decided against it, which was definitely the better idea. I really like how you can really see after you've run the car for quite some time how the front gets like dirty and stuff nowadays. I also had a good view of the oval surface. And it's less than a second now between the DPI and P2 and P3. Closing stages here in Twin Ring Motegi. There you can see them picture in picture. Ah, not picture in picture. That would be a cool feature though. Oh, but Master Lurk has spun off in the turn, what is it? I think exit turn 5 it was. I mean, that made it all the more convenient for Gaspar Misch, but I think both of them would have preferred if it was a normal overtake. But that now means Gaspar Misch up into P2. He is 1.5 seconds faster than Luca D'Amico per lap. Oh, nice drift there. But still, I mean, P2, he started P4. Don't think you can be disappointed with that. Meanwhile, we only, like, after all the overtakes in TCR we've seen, we only had one position change between Sebastian Reh and Oliver Berndt, each gaining and losing one. That's kind of incredible. But, yeah. You can also look at the overall standings, the overall time differences. And there we see the DPI is completed around about 10 laps more than the TCRs did. And we still have 5 DPIs on the lead there. Oh, and Sven Mackenberg and Robert Wiesenmüller. Sven Mackenberg really getting close there. And we still have 12 minutes to go. Pace of Robert Wiesenmüller has dropped quite a bit. Meanwhile, both Mackenberg still lapping pretty much the same lap time. 25.82 for Marvin, 8.4 for Sven. Ricardo Bello gets through. But again, getting close is one thing, getting past is the other one, and other than DPI, the TCRs are really hard to overtake if you have people of that level competing against each other. That doesn't mean the racing isn't great. I mean, we've seen the complete opposite in this race, but they can go side by side for half a lap and the overtake still isn't completed. So that will be a very interesting one. It's not close enough yet to launch an attack. Would be nice if the LA cam could zoom out a bit at times, but I think it's currently the best cam to follow it. You can see once you're close, it gets hard to really get close enough. Let's say. You can see Gash from Mish flying by. Again, Robert braking as far to the outside as possible. Through the tunnel. But especially in those very technical sections, you can see how much more grip Sven has. They drive the exact same lines, but Sven can just carry more speed through it. Not close enough yet again. There goes Marcel Löcken. Robert blocking every way possible to not allow Sven to get a run on him. Now going to the outside. Sven isn't close enough to dive it down the inside. There goes Roxaby. He could still catch up to Marcel Löcken for the podium position. It's 5 seconds, but it will be very close. And look at how close they drive to each other. Little bump there, but I mean that's TCR racing. Now this time, can Sven build up good enough run. Tries about the outside, every inch of the track is used. Wiesenmüller, just giving him enough space to be there. Now it's to open up to the inside because Thorsten Leber has to get through. Still no way for Sven to get around. Robert Wiesenmüller still again another love bomb, as we call it at times. But now good braking performance by the Lynk&Co. Can he get a run on the Elantra N? Not quite. But now again, great braking performance. Wiesenmüller around the outside. Can accelerate a bit earlier, but is it enough? Does the Elantra have the upper hand on power to get clear of the Lynk&Co 3 of Sven Markenberg? Past Colin Blankenburg and now Sven Markenberg to the inside. But there's still Bertani. Can Robert Wiesenmüller maybe use it to get another run on Sven Markenberg? You can see how much more grip Sven has through this section, but I think he's gone now. But what a move that was. Great defense by Robert Wiesenmüller, just nothing he could do there. Sven just being able to brake so much later. But that's currently a double Markenberg podium. Or a double Markenberg win. Oh. Not quite there, that in Silverstone for the Racing Green 350. Looks to be in the gravel that will not have helped them in the chase of Marcel Löcken. And yeah, SanDisk basically. Ah well, now that I said it, of course the opposite happens. And he lost a significant amount of time. He was around 1 second away from Robert Wiesenmüller already. But now in turn 6 lost so much time that Wiesenmüller was right on his back again. Not sure what happened there, but something. Lots of traffic in Sector 3 right now. Oh! And that was a big hit for Riccardo Rubello. It was a bit weird because Wiesenmüller tried to get out of the way and Riccardo just didn't see it in that moment, or just didn't expect it, whatever said. And he tried to evade and just lost the rear end of the car. Certainly something we will look at after the end of the race. I think that's the first situation. But I mean, it was very tricky with 3 TCRs all being in a different spot on track. But Two minutes 45 left. It's 3 laps left for Luca D'Amico. absolutely not taking any risk now. He has a 19-second lead over Gashbamish. And he's still driving at a very good pace. 12.5 last lap. Of course this one will be quite a bit slower because of the TCR traffic, but... Oh, and we lost Box to B. Box to B. I didn't even realize it. What happened to him? I can't see anything in the logs. I mean, it was just said that he posted new best lap times, but not that anything happened to him. Bit weird, but that's surprising. Not sure what happened there. I can't see damage reliably in this dashboard, so I can't tell you about that. But what I can tell you is that Luca D'Amico is entering his last lap while leading the race. Through the tunnel one more time. Let's hop on board with him. And now through turn 7. Drove a flawless race. Did the best he could with his strategy. Oh, and Sebastian Reh. Oh, Sebastian Reh also with a disconnect there. But Luca D'Amico, through the last turn, on the start-finish line, finishes the Asia 100 in first place in the DPI class. Congratulations to him. What a performance. What a drive. And now we are waiting for Marvin Mattenberg to arrive at the start-finish line to take victory in the TCR class. Getting passed one more time by DPI. It's Gashbamish who finished second in the DPI class. Mazda Löcken third. But it's Marvin Mattenberg, our second victor, coming home for Hyundai to take the crown to Korea. Sven Mattenberg, his brother, following him through the finish. And Robert Wiesenmüller, after a very strong race as well, finishing P3. Congratulations to the podiums, but also to everyone else finishing. Let's go through the rest of the list. Ricardo Bello P4, Thorsten Leber P5 for the finishing DPI cars. Oliver Bern P4 in TCR, Colin Blankenburg, Jiří Kartoffel and Christian Bertani finishing out the TCR finishers. Sebastian Reh, Timo Reiter, Dana Lettenbichler and Vox Bibi unfortunately lost during the race. but still, what a race! Been action-packed from start to finish. Lots of strategy games in the DPI class, but yeah, overall, for me, very. I'm very satisfied with the race. And yeah. So yeah, of course it was a bit unfortunate with the incident points. That wasn't planned. I think Colin felt really wrong. Yeah, kind of weird, but yeah, I think it was pretty successful in my book. I mean, sure, it might not be for everyone, but had a lot of fun commentating. It was a lot more action than I could have thought, and I don't have much to say. I only can say that we will have another race this year. That I know for certain. I'm not sure when exactly. I think December. For those who listened the last time, know what's coming next again. But I think it's a combo that shouldn't be too unpopular as well. I hope at least. But apart from that, I don't have too much to say. Except for thank you all for watching, for joining the stream, for driving. Been a pleasure having you all. And yeah, I will post news as soon as I have them in the news channel, as always. And until then, wishing you a great week for those who still have free time. And see you next time around. Goodbye.